Hi guys, this is Tablet-News.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Xiaomi Pad 5. It's been 3 years since the last Xiaomi tablet. It was the Mi Pad 4 and here we are with the Pad 5. They dropped the Mi particle to make things simpler. We're dealing here with the 11-inch version priced at €350 and we also have the optional Xiaomi Smart Pen sold separately and I'm going to show it to you later. Now let's first take the tablet out and see its interesting color choice. Now, depending on the light you see it in, it may look white, purple or even green. It takes a variety of colors depending on how the light falls, and as you can see, the identity of the Xiaomi Mi 11 phone series is kept here. The Mi 11s have this sort of camera design and they borrowed it for the tablet. So the Xiaomi Pad 5 is now here. It runs on Android. It launched at the end of the summer and it's an unboxing. So first of all, let me power up the device. It's quite hefty but at the same time quite light. It uses a Snapdragon CPU, which is quite a rare one. It's the Snapdragon 860. It's got a big battery and quad speakers. Now as it boots up, I'm going to show you the accessories. There aren't very many of them. So here we have the manuals. I've already set up the tablet, no need to worry, we won't waste time. So we have here the quick start guide and the warranty card. And here we find the core accessories. I'm talking about the charger, which uses an USB-A connector and gives you the promise of up to 22.5 watt charging. Doesn't sound very impressive for such a big tablet with such a big battery, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And this is the USB-C to USB-A cable, and that's it. No metal key for any sort of slot and no USB-C to 3.5mm connector or anything like that. Okay, so this checks out. We've done the unboxing. Let's focus on the tablet now. It's been quite a ride. The Xiaomi Mi Pads from a few years ago were quite solid, even in camera, believe it or not. And now, after 3 years, they're back. Now the design, it's a very light tablet, I'll give you that much, and it has this interesting gradient at the back side. From what I know, this should be glass. We have a pretty strong and sturdy aluminum frame, and once again glass at the front. Let's fire it up. The bezels aren't small by today's standards. There's a trend in making them narrower, but at the same time I have zero problems with larger bezels as long as my big fingers can fit on those bezels. Now I'm going to turn down the brightness a little bit because it's turned all the way to the max. That's a bit better. And if you want measurements, it's actually a 6.9mm thick device which weighs 511 grams, which by any standards means it's quite the light product. Colors are cosmic gray, there's also pearl white and green, and the screen you're seeing here, well, it's an 11-inch IPS LCD with quite the generous resolution of 2560 over 1600 pixels. It's got 120 Hz refresh rate, and we have here the options to prove it. So you can go here, refresh rate set from the factory to 120 Hz. You can tone it down to 60 Hz if you want to save some juice for later on. It has Dolby Vision, just like the fall flagship Xiaomi 11T Pro, and HDR10. The aspect is 16:10, fit for media consumption. Now, if you want to talk about the CPU inside, it's a rarity, the Snapdragon 860. It's no error that you're seeing the 855 here, because the 860 is basically the 855++. We've seen it previously, the 860 on the Poco X3 Pro, and that's the only one. Hasn't been shared by many phones, this CPU. You can also see it not on a Dragon, but here on this device, accompanied by 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1 if I remember correctly. We don't have a micro SD card slot, but we do have a hefty battery, I would say, for this thickness. 8720 mAh with support for 33 watt charge. So if you have a better charger than the bundle one, you should charge it up faster. And we have quad speakers on the right side. You can find 2 of them. This is the USB-C port, and on the left side the other 2 here. And there's an extra logo here which says Dolby Vision Atmos. Quite the promise on a portable device nowadays. You used to have to go to a mall to get Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos and things like that. Now you can hold it in your backpack. stereo speakers, of course. And if you want to talk about the cameras, you have a front one here for your video calls, 8 megapixels, and in spite of the menacing look, this is not exactly a dual powerful camera. It's a singular 13 megapixel shooter with LED flash and 4K video capture, and with an Omni Vision sensor. I see there are two flashes here actually, so it's a dual tone, dual flash. There are also pogo pins at the bottom, so you can connect a keyboard. And well, on the connectivity front, not much to say. The usual things, I'm talking about dual band Wi-Fi. And at the same time, we also have Bluetooth 5.0, there's USB-C. Surprisingly, we don't have GPS, and we also don't have NFC, but we do have USB-C. The Android is of the 11th kind here, so Android 11 with MIUI 12.5.2 with some tweaks to make the experience enlarged for a tablet. Like this dock area here, which keeps basically your either recent apps or your most often used apps. Of course, there's the recent area triggered like this. You can see your recently opened apps. You can clear them all, or you can go back with a gesture. You can also have floating windows. And here you can see the control center inspired by iOS, also present on phones, with a dark mode, with always on display, with a screenshot, do not disturb, and so much more. We also have proprietary versions of a music player, of a video player. We have pre-installed WPS Office and the pen. Now, the pen is sold separately. It's called the Xiaomi Smart Pen, and it's possibly the most evolved stylus that Xiaomi has produced so far. Okay, so here we should have extras like spare nibs. Okay, so these are the spare nibs to replace the tip of the pen. These are the usual manuals and whatnot, and that's the actual device. It's fit more like a pencil than a pen. If you look at this design, doesn't want to mimic a pen, rather a pencil. It's got those angular areas, and at the same time it's bigger and has this I would say separate tip, which has a bit of a pushback. Anyway, it attaches magnetically to the top of the device. It has to snap to make the connection, and you also have to have Bluetooth activated. It says here 80%, it's connected via Bluetooth, and it charges like that. You should be ready. From what I've heard, 1 minute of charge equals 20 minutes of usage. And you can use it in stuff like this Notes app. You can do a handwritten note. You can select your pens. You can start drawing. You have the color palette here, and you have two buttons. Each of them has a different purpose. One should help with the screenshots, and one should help you navigate. I'm pressing the top one right now. It's helping me navigate between brushes. And the bottom one, well, it also helps me navigate. And if you keep one pressed or the other, they have different purposes depending on the area of the interface you're at. So if I keep it pressed here, it helps me take a screenshot, and if I keep pressing the other one, I can tap the screen to start writing. That's pretty cool. So it's basically a sort of shortcut towards the app. So I'm getting to know it better, and we're preparing for the review as time passes. We'll be back pretty soon. I would say it's a high mid-range tablet, the Xiaomi Pad 5. There's also a Pro version. We're testing this one, and it feels like a media device, maybe with some gaming, and of course a bunch of productivity also involved. I've taken some camera shots, and I'll be back with more pretty soon. That's it from Tablet News. Bye bye.